Hi guys. So I woke up at like 1 or 2 in the morning and I look at my phone and I see that there is a new video from Bruce Rivers and I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for Click. And I wasn't ready. It's a hard watch, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It is so brutally honest and beautiful and perfect. Drop everything, ignore this video and go and watch it. He shows photos of Michael and from his childhood and I was thinking about this quite a bit after like the whole shock of it all was wearing off and you know, it's not like Bruce would have been oblivious to Michael's problems, and I wondered what exactly he put him through, and Bruce is very, very honest about that, and I love him for this. He's not disparaging his son. Addiction is a disease, and it's a painful disease that affects everyone around the person who's addicted, and it, you know, I can say I've got 11 years sobriety, but it's still always a threat. And I had wondered, you know, if Bruce was that surprised. And then when he announced his return, I was like, you know, it would be so hard to have in the back of your head at any moment this might happen. And he talks about going to check on him and how many times he was in the ER. And he totaled a couple of cars the year that he passed. And the really wild thing, though, is the day I found out about Michael was around like the 17th of December. And I talked about this in my first video, that I was driving home and what I actually noticed was the full moon. And then I kind of put myself in for whatever reason, I just like, you know, transported into Michael's car or whatever. I just pictured myself like driving one of Michael's cool cars. I would only assume he would have cool cars. He seems like the type. There's a fucking Lambo in their opening. I bet he had cool cars. And that's when it hit me that I am blessed that I am driving, and holy shit, he can't, and he's not anymore. And then I followed this beautiful full moon home. And now, just, you know how the brain works. Now I am associating full moons with Michael Rivers. And last night there was an amazing full moon, and I had the pleasure of following that to my home, running errands after work last night for like an hour and a half, and I just could not stop thinking about him, and I could not stop thinking about Bruce, and knowing that Bruce was planning a return. And so I was absolutely shocked and elated and scared at the same time when Bruce had posted a new video, because I was like, oh, this is going to be hard. And goddamn, the man is so strong. He's very honest, and he talks about his life and how, you know, they spent a lot of time in Colorado, and I'm from Colorado, and I'm like, yeah, another connection. And what a beautiful child Michael was. He was such a beautiful young man, and he shows his favorite pictures of when he's very healthy. And he's also, like, one of the first things he says is the autopsy said he was 6 feet tall and 127 pounds. And that's what everybody well, not everybody, but the comments often spoke of. Like, my observation was that he was getting very thin. And I worried if he was sick. And yeah, that is so skinny. Like, I gasped. I audibly gasped when he said he was 127 pounds. And he was 27 years old, and obviously he's forever 27, and there's only certain legends that get that moniker. But it is a beautiful, beautiful tribute. And also, like, I was so worried. They say that Dean Martin was never the same after his son died, and not that Bruce isn't the same, but he's still Bruce. He's Dean, you know, it destroyed him, and he was permanently altered. And Bruce is so strong and wonderful that he's still himself, but also forever pained. It is so hard to watch this man go through this, knowing how much he's already been through. And so I just want to support him more than anything, and I want you guys to support him too. And yeah, it's not an easy watch. He goes into painful detail. I'm upset that he was so worried about his son for so long, and so many times he got sober, and I guess Michael was taking advantage of the dark web and finding stuff online, and that ended up ending him. And how difficult it would be to know this is going on with your son. And of course, every addict lies. Whether it's, I've only had 2 beers, or of course I'm not, your father's not stupid. Of course he knew what you were going through, and, he's on to you, bud. But of course there's like an element of denial when you are an addict. And, the last year must have been so fucking hard for Bruce, and to just live in that. It's like having a really old dog and always being like, are you still breathing? When you have a dog for well over a decade, and they're a larger dog, so they shouldn't have made it to a decade, and you're always checking on their breathing. That's my equation. That's how I figure Bruce must have had to felt about Michael. Like, are you okay? Going to his apartment, checking on him, finding out he's in the ER. He was in the ICU for 4 days once. When Michael went all out when he did stuff, I guess. And he was such a beautiful young man, and it's such a difficult disease. And so, there's that element of course Bruce saw this coming, and that had to have been so hard. And God damn it, Bruce found him. Bruce, I'm upset about this. I'm upset about all of this. But poor Bruce had to break into the apartment because he wasn't answering his phone, and he had been checking on him on November 16th, which is very close to a full moon, by the way. And he not only did he lose his son, but he fucking found him in a very difficult state. My heart bleeds for Bruce. That would have been so hard and so shocking. And he's just the strongest. He's just the strongest man, and to continue going, and to have new editors. And Michael was a wonderful photographer. Oh my God, his work is awesome. I mean, I'm not surprised, but we just didn't see much of his artsy shit. He had a beautiful eye. So what he wants to do is maybe put some of his pieces up for sale so his daughter can go to college. I want one right now. I'm going to scrape together pennies, whatever. I won't be able to afford one of the framed ones, but I know how to frame stuff. And I want his little sister to go to college, of course. And, the best lesson is, I know that there are people who are going to be affected enough by this that they won't use drugs. I watched many people get sober, relapse. Like I said, I wish I had the patience that my cousin has for people when they relapse, because I get impatient with it. Because it's so hard. And a very, very, very good friend of mine relapsed straight out of rehab, and she is no longer with us. And every time I'm even the slightest bit tempted, I think of her. And I can't, because Sonia's no longer with us, and I can't. It was just one last time for her, and it was literally one last time, and I can't have one last time. And Bruce coming back and being so fucking brutally honest is going to help somebody, probably hundreds, if not thousands, of people when they have that moment of weakness, when they're like, God, I just want to go party. People will think of Michael, they will think of Bruce, and they will not. I know this will happen. And he's helping people every day, all the time. He's a humanitarian. He's just goddamn awesome. I'm almost deifying him, but like, he's just a huge inspiration, you know, like, there should be more men like this. There should be more women like this. He's a powerful, wonderful, brilliant genius of a man, full of wisdom and humor and honesty. His verve is wonderful, and I love him. And forgive me, I'm doing this in one take, but I just had to share. It's a hard watch, guys, but I highly recommend it. And my love to the Rivers clan, and especially to Bruce. He's even stronger than I thought. Thank you so much, my loves.